Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Perfect World based on novel. So let's start. Shahao felt that the 8-armed Soul Race's sect master wasn't enough to kill him, feeling that he should recruit more people and gang up on the Silver Blood Devil Tree ancient ancestor, and only then would he be killed, eliminating a great danger. Soul Race's sect master immediately stood out. Even though he knew that Shahao wouldn't treat them unfairly, right now, he still had to display a type of stance. Immediately after, another individual ascended to the stage, figure indistinct, rushing at the Silver Blood Devil Tree race's ancient ancestor as expected. Immortal Ancient was cursed, and this curse carried an enormous amount of danger. Normally, this level of creature was already extremely few, and even if there was, they couldn't leave the tribe, most of them already muddle-headed and in a deep slumber. However, today was special. The great sects were all paying close attention to whether or not Shahao could successfully cross tribulation, so sect master level figures personally came here. Now, they were going to take action. Dao friends, what are you all doing? Could it be that you are going to let an outsider incite disharmony among us? That lightning tribulation liquid is definitely ours, so why do we need to ruin our relationship? The Silver Blood Devil Tree race's ancient ancestor said. The two of our races have grudges to begin with, so it'll be properly dealt with here. Soul Clan's ancient ancestor said. Everyone, this isn't the only time I will face tribulation. In the future, there will still be the most powerful lightning tribulation. I promise that I will treat all of your clansmen. Shahao declared. Immediately afterwards, sect masters took action, indistinct figures seemingly berserk, as they threw themselves forward murderously. All of you, Silver Blood Devil Tree race's ancient ancestor was furious, but the circumstances were already beyond his control. He couldn't stay here, turning around to leave. The battle of sect masters was definitely terrifying. 3 figures shattered the heavens, disappearing from this place. Everyone trembled inwardly. Heavenly tribulation descended, lightning radiance poured down endlessly. The 10th heaven's lightning tribulation was much more terrifying than the 9th heaven, but Shahao didn't provoke the true dragon, Heavenly Phoenix, and others in the lightning tribulation, let alone touch that immortal stage. This was a layer of heavenly tribulation that wouldn't descend if not provoked. Just now, he provoked a few comparatively weaker lightning creatures, sending down tens of thousands of streaks of electrical light. This was a disaster. The entire mountain range flickered with lightning radiance, rubble flying everywhere, those enormous ancient trees all pulling out their roots and fleeing towards the distance. Shahao resisted the lightning. At the same time, the space between his brows shone, his divine senses completely unfolding. He locked onto 2 heavenly deities, both of them transformed from enormous silver trees. Right now, the 2 were fleeing, rushing towards the distance. A cold smile appeared on the corner of Shahao's lips, chasing over with extreme speed. He didn't want to completely eradicate them, not wishing to slaughter the innocent, but the Silver Blood Devil Tree race targeted him again and again, so he had to at least do something. He didn't wish to kill the old and young, only eliminating the clan's main fighting strength. These 2 heavenly deities were undoubtedly his targets. Shahao quickly rushed over, bringing the lightning tribulation with him, chasing up to them soon after. This ended without any suspense. Shahao and the lightning radiance didn't even have to make a move, and this heavenly deity was already blasted until its body fractured, and then its body and soul were wiped out. The everlasting immortal sword pointed out, chasing after a heavenly deity that ran in another direction. Sword radiance shocked the world. This person turned around, turned into a sky-reaching ancient tree, about to seal this sword core and bring it away. Inside the sword core, lightning radiance erupted. This was the powerful lightning Dao Shahao infused into the sword, and at this moment, it burst, immediately linking up the sea of lightning in the sky. Not good. This heavenly deity cried out loudly, quickly fleeing into the distance. However, it was still too late. Shahao already eliminated the other person, now chasing over in this direction. With a raise of his hand, an enormous lightning Dao light sword formed, viciously hacking over. The mountain range was hacked through, turning into flying ashes. This person vomited blood from his mouth, still wishing to escape. However, Shahao's real body arrived, meaning that the lightning tribulation did as well. Shahao blasted it flying with a single fist, forcing it to cough out large amounts of blood. Its flesh ruptured in the sea of lightning, ultimately turning into a charred corpse, thus losing its life. This region was in chaos. When Shahao returned, the Silver Blood Devil Tree race were already all fleeing. He didn't wish to massacre this place, only bringing the lightning and bombarding this place, turning all of the mountain peaks into ashes. The ancient land of a race thus completely disappeared. Everyone was stupefied. This was but the Silver Blood Devil Tree race, known as a matchless holy land, yet it was destroyed just like that. Shahao was extremely calm. He produced a jade cauldron, and then began to collect lightning tribulation liquid. It was because he didn't want to waste any more time and end things. Soon after, the eight-armed soul race's ancient ancestor and another sect master returned, on their bodies some blood. Did they settle things? This was what everyone was wondering. One had to understand that these two were chasing after the Silver Blood Devil Tree race's ancient ancestor. This was a great matter that shook up all of Immortal Ancient. What were the results like? He is quite cunning, fleeing too fast. However, he suffered serious injuries, his chances of surviving not high, at the very least unable to fight for a year or two. The eight-armed soul race's ancient ancestor spoke, feeling a bit regretful. However, after carefully thinking about it, it was enough. After all, this was a sect master who was incomparably powerful. How could he be easily killed? If not for the curse in his body, the Silver Blood Devil Tree race's ancient ancestor definitely wouldn't die, able to live through it. However, Immortal Ancient was different. Once one received heavy injuries, their bodies would be corroded by the curse, easily falling. The blood on the eight-armed soul race's ancient ancestor, and that sect master's bodies were all from that Silver Blood Devil Tree, not their own. Thus, the lightning radiance around Shahao disappeared, the entire 10th heaven completely disappearing. In that instant, great banners fluttered about, formations sealed the heavens, surrounding him. This was a great formation the eight-armed soul race and a few other clans worked together to set up, something they discussed with Shahao beforehand, to protect him out of fear of outsiders stirring up trouble. At this time, two sect masters walked forward, both of them carrying looks of joy, their minds stirring greatly. Not every sect had sect master level figures, and those that could fight were even fewer. Now that there were two people standing guard here, it could definitely be called a top-level fighting force. Little friend has heaven-warping heroicness after all, even able to make it through divine king tribulation, shocking past and present. Eight-armed soul race's ancient ancestor said with a sigh of praise. A true talent, a giant among men, is little Dao friend married. I have a descendant who is incredibly beautiful, known as a world-shocking divine beauty. The other sect master was extremely direct, laughing loudly as he spoke. Their admiration was sincere, and at the same time, they really did wish to rope in this youngster, because their clansmen numbers were enormous. If they wanted to rescue all of them, how could one or two instances of lightning tribulation be enough? The two of them both wished to establish good relationships with Shahao, because only then could they change the fate of their clan. Seniors do not need to be polite. Please dissolve your curses. Shahao produced a jade cup, the cup extremely small, less than an inch in size. They both had a cup of lightning tribulation liquid handed into each other's hands. This senior is. He recognized Soul Race's ancient ancestor, but he didn't know who the other was. He is Beauty Clan's old clan leader. Soul Race's ancient ancestor said with a smile, accepting the jade cup, downing the 5-colored liquid with a single gulp. He immediately sat down to operate a mysterious art. Beauty Clan's expert didn't move, staying here to offer protection, as to avoid outsiders attacking secretly. The 8-armed Soul Race's ancient ancestor had previously become muddle-headed, rescued by the bit of lightning tribulation liquid he offered up. Now, the 5-colored lightning tribulation liquid was clearly better than the last time, the medicinal effects even greater. That was why, even though it was just a small cup, it displayed tremendous use. In that instant, his body released waves of black haze that turned into dark light, burning here. A great roar sounded. The 8-armed Soul Race's ancient ancestor opened his eyes, then rose up into the air, stirred up and excited. He couldn't help but release a great roar, shaking up the world until groups of mountains collapsed. The curse that had trapped him for so many years was now completely cleansed. Old friend, help protect me. I ought to do the same. Beauty Clan's sect master's voice was trembling a bit. When he saw someone he knew succeed, great waves stirred within his mind as well. A moment later, another great roar sounded, a second sect master neutralizing his curse. At that moment, all of the great banners and formation stages were put away. This place became calm. These two great sect masters didn't need these things at all. They neutralized their curse, becoming far stronger than in the past. When taking action, they didn't have to feel any misgivings anymore. Fellow Dao friends, please step forward, Shahao said. He rushed towards the great sects that had previously always protected him, smiling towards those great sects he had relations with, preparing to gift out the lightning tribulation liquid. The 8-armed soul race, beauty race, and others all swarmed over, those people so excited they were shaking, incomparably hopeful. The two great sect masters stopped the chaotic masses, pointing towards the heavenly deities inside to have them walk up. These were the top-level fighting strength, so they should have their curse neutralized first. Soon after, this place overflowed with divine light. A few more heavenly deities immediately appeared, neutralizing their curses. Blood energy surged, shaking up this ancient place. This was a major event. No matter how many years passed, no one would forget that this youngster distributed lightning tribulation liquid, helping the natives neutralize their curses, making many people shed tears of joy. They didn't know how many years they had been waiting for this already, always wishing for the day they could return to normal, no longer bound by a mysterious power, and become like those of the outside world. That day was recorded in the annals of history, leaving a heavy mark in this great era. Even though this great era had reached its end, it was still an extremely brilliant event. Everyone, we cannot feel optimistic about the situation yet. Immortal ancient remains have displayed cracks, powerful experts of the outside world might enter. We have to think of ways to have the most powerful people neutralize their curse power first. Soul Race's ancient ancestor spoke. They had to start from those with the greatest strength as to cope with unforeseen developments. After obtaining their clan's agreement, quite a few heavenly deities immediately appeared, all of them sitting in the void, clouds and mists surging. Soon after, their curse power was neutralized. The natives from many great clans who came here received benefits. That is those who were friendly to Shahao, none of them with the problem of their clans, heavenly deities secretly stirring up trouble. Of course, there were a few clans whose eyes were red, but they could only stare helplessly. These races had previously all either attacked Shahao or had disagreements with him, so they were naturally excluded. Soon after, this place erupted with activity. Shahao was crowded at the center, surrounded by a group of heavenly deities. Right now, that youth looked extremely great and divine. He helped a few people with their curses, naturally obtaining their sincere gratitude and support. Not good. Quite a few people who bore hostility felt fear. It was because more and more people gathered in Shahao's surroundings, heavenly deities standing in great numbers. How could they not be scared? In the end, there were even another two muddle-headed sect masters who were saved. 4 great sect masters stood together there, making others truly shocked, sighing with astonishment. Little friend, our Centaur clan, and ancient fiend sect were always actively taking action to protect little friend. We must ask for help in neutralizing the curse power. The two clans couldn't sit still any longer. They hurriedly walked up, because they seemed to have been forgotten. I have previously said that Centaur clans Ma Yu and ancient fiend races Mo Luo had tried to kill me. So it is impossible for me to give out lightning tribulation liquid unless they die. Shahao calmly said. You want to tyrannically abuse immortal ancient. Do you think everyone will obey your orders? Ma Yu transmitted sound. Just an outsider, by what qualifications do you have to act so unbridled? Lightning tribulation liquid is something everyone in immortal ancient needs. Doing things this way is forcing us. Mo Luo also transmitted sound. This time, Shahao didn't have to speak, nor did the 4 sect masters say anything. A few heavenly deities directly took action, rushing forward murderously. Those two individuals' expressions changed, immediately fleeing for their lives. In the distance, the cultivators of the 3,000 provinces were all stupefied. Huang gathered such a great amount of power just like that. Regardless of whether it was Yunxi, Yu Chan, or the others acquainted with Shahao, they were all shocked. This kind of force, if brought out from immortal ancient, would definitely stir up a great storm. It was because this power was still growing. As for facing tribulation, the reason why Shahao obtained comparatively more lightning tribulation liquid was because the effects of the lightning tribulation liquid far exceeded that of the past, helping many people neutralize their curses. At this moment, he directly gifted a bit of the lightning tribulation liquid to the 8-armed soul race, beauty races, true deities and others. Little friend, do not be like this, it's too much of a waste. Soul race's heavenly deity urged, hoping to save a few more heavenly deities and make their strength greater. It was because if there was conflict with those of the outside world, they would be able to protect their clansmen. Soul Clan, Beauty Clan and the others had previously protected me sincerely. This precious liquid has to be distributed. Shahao said. This was something he had to do. Those close to him were special. The clans that had previously made a great effort to protect him all obtained special care. When he did this, there would be even more people who came, hoping for the next time he gifted out lightning tribulation liquid. Sure enough, this triggered a commotion. More and more people rushed over, experts filling this place like clouds. There were heavenly deities everywhere, surrounding him within. This kind of alliance, this enormous strength, it will definitely stir up a terrifying storm in the 3,000 provinces. Someone sighed with amazement. This instance of lightning tribulation affected too much. Immortal Ancients natives were all shocked because of this. As the years went by, who would be willing to step onto a path of muddle-headedness? Who dared to breathe under the shadows of death? No one wanted to have a curse tangling around them, all of them wishing for freedom and light. Now that there was this type of opportunity laid out before them, all clans naturally flocked over. Shahao became the center of attention, surrounded by everyone, all eyes concentrated on him. Of course, it wasn't every clan that sincerely wished him well, with some just putting on an appearance for the sake of acquiring lightning tribulation liquid. It was because the various clans were all scheming inwardly. If Immortal Ancient remains split open, linking up with the outside world, once the great sects outside rushed in, there will definitely be great problems. They already realized that Shahao's relationship with some of the inheritances of the outside world wasn't good, not ending until one side died. That was why a few sects' heavenly deities acted amicably on the surface, but it was unknown how they would really act at the crucial moment. Of course, there were a few great clans who truly bound themselves to the same war chariot as Shahao. It was because they still wanted to save their clansmen, wishing well for Shahao's future, believing that as long as he continued living, anything was possible. This was a type of gamble. If the sect masters outside slaughtered their way inside, a great clash might break out. However, if they could protect Shahao, they would obtain generous reciprocation that would definitely be astonishing. Forget about even more powerful lightning tribulation liquid, Shahao alone was worth the clan's protection. 3 strands of immortal energy surrounded his body. If he became a sect master level figure, who would be his opponent? Shahao naturally knew that there were some who were seeking personal gain. Even though there were large amounts of experts around him, quite a few of them heavenly deities, there weren't that many true comrades. A cold smile appeared on the corner of his lips. Whoever brings back Ma Yu and Mo Luo's head, I can give the rest of the lightning tribulation liquid to their clans. Even though he had already given out quite a bit of lightning tribulation liquid, he still had a portion on him. Apart from the bit he gave the 8-armed soul race and beauty race, the remainder was given to those who truly exerted themselves. If they wanted lightning tribulation liquid, they had to prove their sincerity. There were some who already went out to chase after those 2 heavenly deities before, but most of them returned, more of a performance than actually investing any strength. Shahao remembered those who truly chased after them. Right now, he threw out this bait. A few people hesitated, but some didn't hesitate, once again chasing out. Centaur Clan and Ancient Fiend Clan's expressions changed, finding it difficult to calm down. Conflicted expressions appeared on their faces. Those were their heavenly deities. They didn't wish to see the 2 of them die. At the same time, there were some who inwardly cursed those 2. If not for Ma Yu and Mo Luo's greed, intercepting Shahao to seize his immortal seed, how could it have ended like this? That day, Immortal Ancient erupted with disturbances. Shahao left for Soul Island. Right now, he completely stood together with the 8-armed soul race. Dao brothers, are you all really going to resign yourselves to this? It is just an outsider who criticizes our Immortal Ancient natives, relying on his lightning tribulation liquid to threaten the different clans and give out orders. How can we listen to him? That day, there were people who visited different sects, contacting them to join together in dealing with Shahao. It was clear that these were all those who bore hostility against Shahao. Powerful conflict had previously broken out between them, for example, the descendants of the 7 heavenly deities Shahao had previously killed. There were other experts similar to the Silver Blood Devil Tree race. How could these people obtain lightning tribulation liquid from Shahao? That was why they did everything they could to incite disharmony and sow enmity against Huang. During this time, Ma Yu and Mo Luo even more so secretly visited a few ancient lands, hoping to wake up some slumbering sect masters and have them move out. Huang still has lightning tribulation liquid on him that can save your distinguished self. Having him in your hands is the same as grasping everything, making the clan flourish again. They were extremely directly, telling them that the curse can be neutralized, now no longer an issue. However, Huang walks too closely with Beauty Race and the 8-armed Soul Race. Based on their arrangements, there is no way to make them leave, only by forcefully seizing and capturing Huang. The places Ma Yu and Mo Luo sought out were all ancient lands that carried grudges, with the 8-armed Soul Race and Beauty Race, all for the sake of stirring up conflict and hoping that they could restrain the two sect masters. They offered the temptation that they could kill Huang and directly acquire the lightning tribulation liquid, not having to die rigidly like a tree. It was because they had a substitute, for example Ning Chuan, who they were proactively contacting. A storm was brewing in Immortal Ancient, all sides unable to remain calm, all because of the lightning tribulation liquid. This led to the awakening of a few sect masters from their slumber. There were too many natives, clans towering in large numbers. However, sect masters weren't that many, if not dead, they went made or muddle-headed. Only a few could still appear. This was a violent commotion. Shahao naturally heard the news, his eyes becoming ice-cold. Those two had to die, actually daring to add fuel to the flame. That day, the 8-armed Soul Race's ancient ancestor personally moved. Those two were nothing more than heavenly deities, not placed in his eyes at all. No one expected them to actually dare stir up conflict, angering the elder. A great murderous intent surged, spreading through Immortal Ancient. There were some who saw sect masters clash, fighting above barren lands, fighting until the heavens collapsed and earth split. There was actually someone who could resist the 8-armed Soul Race's ancient ancestor, exceeding everyone's expectations. However, after the curse was eliminated, the Soul Race's #1 expert's strength became even more terrifying, able to take action, without any restraint, winning over his opponent. Then, a sect master bled. After his spiritual body was killed, this matter immediately triggered a huge commotion. That person disguised his spiritual body as the true body to tangle around the 8-armed Soul Race's ancient ancestor, his true body unexpectedly already secretly charging murderously towards Soul Island, truly about to attack and cut off Shahao. Seize his lightning tribulation liquid. Only, he miscalculated. Beauty Clan's sect master was overseeing this place, and the two sect masters rumored to have long left also appeared, still staying here as guests. Everyone knew that Shahao saved a total of 4 sect masters. In the end, there were 3 here. An intense battle broke out. This person's blood dyed the heavens. After losing an arm, he broke out with heavy injuries. The 8-armed Soul Race's ancient ancestor, after killing that person's spiritual body, found traces of Ma Yu and Mo Luo. He displayed power even from endless distance away, blasting their bodies until they split apart, almost exploding. However, he still didn't act and deal the killing blow in the end, instead handling the task to the heavenly deities, who had been chasing after them all this time. Those individuals felt grateful. With those 2 heads, they could exchange them for lightning tribulation liquid. No, you all cannot be like this. We are heavenly deities, all immortal ancient natives, how could you do this? The 2 of them were horrified, couldn't help but cry out like this. However, those heavenly deities' expressions were all cold, long aware that these 2 had previously forfeited a great opportunity out of greed. They looked down on these 2, suppressing and killing them without mercy. When the 2 heads were brought to Soul Island and displayed before Shahao, he gave out the lightning tribulation liquid as promised. This matter's effects were great, the reactions of various clans different, all of their minds jumping. This was especially the case for the geniuses of the 3,000 provinces, all of them breaking out in cold sweat. Those were heavenly deities. Yet Shahao didn't even have to take action himself, the heads brought before him just like that. Everyone trembled in fear. Right now, who dared offend Huang? If they truly made him discontent, just the slightest suggestion from him might have people fighting for his sake. That day, Jiyu Jianyun withdrew from Immortal Ancient, leaving quickly and decisively from this place. An ancient king, a powerful individual, who had previously crossed lightning tribulation, ran, just like that, not even leaving behind a single word. This made even more people's hearts tremble, feeling stupefied. Seal up the entrance, don't let that little 6 kid leave. Shahao said. When these words sounded, it triggered a huge uproar. Everyone knew that Huang was going to take action against 6 Crown King Ning Chuan, already showing this type of intention. He was about to act decisively. Sure enough, there were heavenly deities who immediately walked out to search for Ning Chuan's whereabouts. Everyone knew that if they wanted to obtain lightning tribulation liquid from Shahao, they had to display their sincerity. Even if they didn't kill Ning Chuan, they could still find his whereabouts and tell it to Huang. Of course, there were some who had long tied themselves to Shahao's side, wishing to directly kill Ning Chuan, searching everywhere for him. Deep into the night, someone attacked Seoul Island, almost breaking into Shahao's place of seclusion. Fortunately, there were sect masters overseeing the place, stopping their attack. Shahao frowned. The situation was a bit complex and dangerous. Even though in the eyes of the 3,000 provinces cultivators, he currently wielded tremendous power, a 20-year-old youngster already enough to order heavenly deities of all sides, he himself knew that he was currently propped up on a stove and roasted, things not all that optimistic. Once Immortal Ancient opened and the sect masters of the outside world slaughtered their way inside, he would most likely be in danger. Aside from this, there were other sect masters in this ancient land, for example, the one that had just attacked secretly, targeting the lightning tribulation liquid he had on him. It was because they bore enmity against the Seoul clan, so they had no choice but to forcefully seize him. If they continued like this, a slight carelessness might result in danger to his life. There was good news as well. The next day, a sect master paid a visit, already at the brink of muddle-headedness, asking Shahao for help. There were now 5 sect masters that stood at his side. There are 2 or 3 sect masters that cannot be converted into friends, related to the heavenly deities you killed, close friends with the silver blood devil tree race's ancient ancestor. Beauty race's number 1 expert said. Shahao frowned and said, I do not want to remain in Seoul Island. Are there any places that can stop the steps of sect master level figures? There are a few places, but it's too dangerous. Seoul race's ancient ancestor said. However, when Shahao heard him describe those places in detail, he was immediately moved. He wanted to search for opportunities to begin with and seize natural luck. It was now the perfect time to go on his way. Why did he enter Immortal Ancient? To temper himself and transform, search for all types of great treasures. He received news about a few secret places from the sect masters' mouths. Those areas were quite strange, the space not stable. It would be dangerous for cultivators at any cultivation realm. There is a heavenly deity tree. I have to go. Shahao said. When he received news that there was a heavenly deity tree in one of the places, and that another place had the cave of an immortal, he was immediately moved. He had to pay them a visit no matter what. He had a feeling that he was going to leave Immortal Ancient soon. Before leaving, he had to carry out a final sweep of this place, seizing all possible natural luck. Sai only saw a single stalk of immortal medicine, that white tortoise carrying immortal. If I captured it, that would have been good. This was Shahao's desire. He really wanted a stalk of long life medicine, bringing it out from Immortal Ancient. Let me tell you a secret. This world has 4 heavenly deity trees, their attributes different. If they combine and produce the mother tree, they will become a true long life medicine. Beauty Race's sect master said. What, there is this type of saying? Shahao was stupefied. Correct, it is divided into earth, fire, wind, and water. It was originally an unmatched immortal medicine, but in the end, it was divided into 4 stalks by someone with tremendous magical force. Another sect master added. Shahao thought for a bit. He had previously seen one that was together with the white tortoise carrying immortal. Now, he seemed to have obtained some information about another heavenly deity tree. How could he not be moved? When Immortal Ancient is cut open, that white tortoise will definitely appear. I need to think of a way to get that tree from it, Shahao said. Reporting, Ning Chuan's whereabouts have been found, currently being pursued by several heavenly deities. Suddenly, someone ascended onto the island and reported this information. Shahao originally wanted to leave, but when he obtained this piece of information, he immediately became extremely pleased, saying, I'll get rid of him first. Even Ning Chuan was being hunted down, the effects of this matter tremendous, shaking up Immortal Ancient. Everyone speculated that Ning Chuan was in a weak state, greatly affected by holy sacrifice, or else normal heavenly deities wouldn't dare chase after him. Shahao knew that this person used the sainthood to break into the holy sacrifice realm, becoming a divine king. Cannot allow him to escape. Chase. Shahao was in a rush. This was the best chance to kill this person. Otherwise, it would definitely be a great disaster. Are you going to personally take action? Beauty Clan's ancient ancestors' eyes moved, speaking like this. Shahao's mind was moved, revealing a look of surprise. I ask several seniors to head out as well to prevent him from getting away. Fine. Let's go and take a look. 2 sect masters were going to follow along and take a look to see what exactly was going on. They continued without stopping to rest, hurrying over to a small world to chase after Ning Chuan. That day, Immortal Ancient was thrown into chaos. The small worlds all began to clamor with noise, killing energy surging. Heavenly deities were chasing after Ning Chuan, stirring up great waves. The white-clothed 6-crown king, how shocking was this? Someone known to be unmatched in his cultivation realm from past to present, never having met someone who was a worthy opponent among his peers. However now, he was in such a sorry state, being chased after by others. There were news that he was originally cultivating in seclusion, but he was unexpectedly discovered by others while in a weaker state, and that was why he ended up being chased by a few people for over hundreds of thousands of li. Huang arrived, going to personally kill Ning Chuan. That young supreme being who crossed heavenly tribulation and became a divine king is going to descend, about to settle his grudge with Ning Chuan. A major event is going to happen after all. Many people were discussing among themselves and full of expectation. They wanted to watch these 2 powerful individuals fight a decisive battle to the death. However, most people didn't see things in Ning Chuan's favor. It was because even though he was in the holy sacrifice realm, he still didn't cross heavenly tribulation again. So this bit already made him a bit inferior. The most important thing was that he was currently in a weak state. If he couldn't immediately recover, Ning Chuan would undoubtedly die. Who could withstand Huang's power? That was why the timing in his recovery was crucial. There were rumors going around the outside world that the white-clothed 6-crown king was going to die, that this supreme being with fine jade-like skin and a face that was even prettier than that of women was going to fall. What a pity it is with 6-crown king. Could it be that he is going to fall here? He reigned victorious in 6 worlds, known to be an undefeated individual. This type of end is just too lamentable. Even the cultivators of the 3,000 provinces were all shocked, all of them revealing complex expressions. A majestic and heroic figure in their hearts had been smashed, making it difficult for them to calm down. Everyone felt that Ning Chuan might be finished. Appeared. Ning Chuan was locked onto by someone, appearing in green spirit realm. Not good, he is undoubtedly dead. He is now being followed, his true body completely locked onto, unable to flee any longer. News transmitted outwards, leaving all sides shaken. Cultivators of all sides swarmed over. Shahao's group slaughtered their way over, their goal to end Ning Chuan's life. Suddenly, a terrifying fluctuation rushed out. There was actually someone trying to kill Shahao. Sect master level fluctuations, incredibly intense. In that instant, everyone became stunned, looking towards the sky with stupefied expressions. That was a hand that hid heaven and earth, incredibly large, several thousand li in size. It covered everything beneath it, including all of the spectators. That type of aura was too terrifying, powerful to the point of leaving others feeling suffocated. An unmatched sect master appeared, coming here to kill Shahao, suddenly displaying a vicious attack. It's Ning Chuan. Someone cried out. It was because that sect master appeared next to Ning Chuan, clearly traveling together with him all this time. At this moment, many people's fine hairs stood on end, breaking out into a cold shiver. This was a whole different situation on its own. Ning Chuan was conspiring together with a sect master, using his body as bait to guide Shahao over. Then, the most powerful sect master did everything he could to attack, trying to kill Huang in this way. The ones who were saying how 6-crown king was going to fall earlier all became stupefied. Now, they woke up, realizing that this was the burial ground prepared for Shahao. Correct, Huang hid in Soul Island, not only having a few sect masters, but also the great mountain protecting formation, difficult to kill him. Now, it's different. The snake was drawn out from its hole, and now it was going to be killed. A great hand covered the sky, covering Shahao's location. Suddenly, in that instant, a sharp sword radiance rushed towards the sky, hacking towards that large hand, stopping the sect master's might. The expert in the sky was without fear, and there were others assisting him as well. A cold snort sounded, and then a golden war spear appeared, piercing down from beyond the heavens, the aura ridiculously powerful. It also rushed murderously at Shahao. It wasn't a single sect master that was like this. For the sake of killing Huang, the other side made ample preparations. Then, this place erupted, 3 great sect masters appearing in the sky, including that silver blood devil tree race's ancient ancestor. There were 2 sect masters that protected Shahao below. It was clear that their strength didn't match up. Yi, not right, hurry and leave. Suddenly, a shout sounded from above. A sect master grabbed Ning Chuan, quickly fleeing into the distance. Chase! There was someone that released a shout on the ground. In the blink of an eye, 3 great sect masters appeared. Wasn't there information before that there were only 2 that came out with him? Why did all 5 appear? The silver blood devil tree race's ancient ancestor was furious. He invited helpers to suppress and kill Shahao, ending the 8-armed soul race and other clans' hope. Who could have predicted that things would change like this? The skies, a rain of blood scattered. There were sect masters that were injured. The 3 great sect masters were fleeing in a sorry state, not daring to stay here to fight to the death, quickly breaking out. Shahao appeared indifferent. Before leaving, Beauty Clan's sect master already warned him, and that was why he brought 2 sect masters to follow him. In reality, the great experts secretly all followed along. A single carelessness, and something unexpected might have happened. Shahao released a soft sigh. It was a bit of a pity that they couldn't capture Ning Chuan. The other party wasn't discovered, but rather leaked out his own whereabouts on purpose, colluding with sect masters, guiding him over. I'll kill you next time, Shahao said to himself. Ning Chuan stepped into the holy sacrifice realm, his methods heaven-reaching. With sect masters sheltering him, if he deliberately went into hiding, it would be difficult to find him. He could only wait for another opportunity now. Soon afterwards, Shahao secretly went on his way, rushing towards those place of great opportunities. This was an ancient land, the ground not covered by grass, no bodies of water. It was a great desert that lacked vitality. It was to the extent where not even a sun could be seen, constantly engulfed in great winds that blew sand and stone everywhere. There were a few cracks and a few black holes in the void that were currently blowing rarely seen black astral winds. These winds could split apart true deities, extremely terrifying. He received information about the heavenly deity tree a long time ago, news that he obtained from Burial Realm, to the extent where he even had a damaged ancient diagram. Today, he obtained proof after all. The void in this place was unstable with another heaven and earth within it. These astral winds blew out from within. Shahao stepped forward. He made his way inside, entering through a black void black hole, entering a strange place. As soon as he entered, there was a great void crack that hacked over, releasing loud noises as it flew over. It was as Beauty Race's sect master said, this place too dangerous, the space unstable. When normal deities entered, there was a danger of being torn to pieces at every turn. Shahao's flesh had experienced the most powerful heavenly tribulation's baptism, now entering the holy sacrifice realm. He was a divine king, so he was naturally without fear. He made his way over, rushing into the depths of this ancient land, seeing all types of ruined and desolate scenes. The great earth was scorched black, as if it had been burned through. It was unknown just how much endless time had passed, now without even a single blade of grass growing. Shahao moved forward. Hong! Raging flames surged, making even his skin want to rupture. This was solar flame essence, incomparably resplendent, flourishing with golden yellow light. He hurriedly supported his only heavenly passage to resist. This type of flame was extremely terrifying, but he had experienced the baptism of heavenly Tao flames, long adapting to it, so he didn't encounter a disaster here. Otherwise, normal people definitely wouldn't be able to hold on if they entered. Along the way, he encountered all types of dangers. He was walking through a ruined ancient land. He truly began to doubt whether there was a heavenly deity tree here. Yi, I arrived. Finally, he saw concentrated lightning interweaving in the void, berserk thunder rumbling as it hacked down. This was a strange place full of berserk lightning that carried the attributes of heavenly tribulation. When Shahao entered, he immediately understood. This place was too strange, some places having normal lightning, but some guiding heavenly tribulation that matched one's cultivation realm. What kind of place was this? It was too terrifying. If others entered, a single mistake would result in the death of body and spirit, simply impossible to withstand. Meanwhile, he crossed the most powerful lightning tribulation, so he naturally could make it through. Lightning poured down, filling everything between heaven and earth, rumbling as it crashed down. In this place, Shahao saw a lot of shining fine powder on the ground. Upon closer inspection, he he discovered that this was bone powder. Heavenly deity bone powder. One could imagine what kind of disaster those who recklessly entered this place encountered, what kind of miserable deaths they experienced. It wasn't that every inch of space could guide heavenly tribulation lightning here, there was normal lightning as well. However, if one wanted to take advantage of this and enter, one would have to rely on luck. It wasn't something that could be predicted. No wonder not many people, since the ancient times, were able to pick heavenly deity fruits from this place. Shahao said to himself. This was just too difficult. This region was extremely vast. Shahao moved quickly, resisting the lightning tribulation, already traveling several thousand li. After making it through this region, the clothes on his body long turned into ashes, his skin slightly charred black, but it didn't hinder him too greatly. After a bit of rest, Shahao continued on his way. Finally, he saw plants. The earth was no longer scorched black, no flames or lightning radiance. He saw a verdant and lush color. Unfortunately, he didn't see any heavenly deity trees here. After strolling around this green area, he was met with the separation of lightning again. Really is weird. Why is there so much lightning with the characteristics of heavenly tribulation? Could it be that a battle in immortal ancient great era ruined heaven and earth, bringing problems even to heavenly tribulation? Shahao charged forward again. 2 days later, he finally sensed a trace of abnormality. Up ahead towered a great mountain. It was incomparably massive, as if it was as tall as the heavens, reaching past the clouds. There was the aura of a powerful deity. There were plants here, yet there was a lack of powerful individuals, so this naturally made this place extremely strange. Shahao rushed into the sky, passing the cloud layer, seeing what was above the mountain. He immediately widened his eyes, releasing blazing radiance. He was immediately filled with a true feeling of happiness. There was an ancient tree that was upright and strong like a dragon, even thicker than the one he saw in Immortal Medicine Garden. The branches were resplendent, the rays of light dazzling. This was a heavenly deity tree. It was extremely tall, yet it was different from Immortal Medicine Garden's stalk. Its leaves were an earthen yellow, and when it swayed back and forth, it would be suffused with golden radiance. When the radiance flickered to its most brilliant, it would appear as if this was an ancient tree created from suns. The golden color carried a blazing radiance, tens of millions of golden leaves fluttered and rustled about. What made Shahao the most happy was that it was full of flowers, moreover many of them, not just a few like what he had anticipated. Apart from this, upon closer inspection, he unexpectedly saw a few fruits hiding beneath the tree's branches and leaves, shining like suns. Even though there weren't many of them, this was enough to leave him completely shocked. Those were heavenly deity fruits. This was an ancient divine tree with flowers and fruits. It was actually truly found by him. Part 1 end here.